is half done. How many of you have not heard? How many of you have heard it? Okay, that was my way of waking you up. Alright, so that is how important the part of beginning a speech is. We are all corporate employees, right? We work somewhere or the other, and we would have sent our resume here and there at some point of time. Can anybody guess how much time a recruiter spends on your resume on an average? 10 minutes? 10 seconds? Okay.
Only if it is.
Okay, the average is 6 seconds. Okay, so of all your job, maybe you're 20, 25, 30, and you've studied and worked here and there, and you put all your achievements, and recruiter spares just 6 seconds on you. The reason I'm saying this is that's the similar attention span an audience has on a speaker nowadays. In 6 or 5 seconds, a person will decide whether this person is worth listening to or not. Okay? And in a forum like Toastmasters, we are all very courteous, we are very respectful. So we pretend to listen to the speaker, even though switch off. But don't be so, you will not be so lucky, for example, in a stand-up comedy or maybe in a political rally, right? We will not be in Toastmasters all our life. Public speaking, we can be anywhere. So that the reason I'm spending so much time on this is opening a speech is this important. So what you have to do is get the attention of the audience. You tell them who you are, what you're going to talk about, and why they should listen to you. Right? That universal rule of what's in it for me. Everybody asks this question. Why should I spend my time listening to this person? And tell them how you're qualified to talk about it. For example, Prashant said, I'm a samurai speaker, so that gives you some idea of, okay, this guy has been doing public speaking and he has some qualifications in it, so maybe he has something worthwhile to share, right? So, introduce the topic, tell them what you're going to talk about, which he introduced in the piece of paper that he read out, and then tell them why they have to listen to you. And then establish a rapport. For example, when I came here and in a slightly humorous way asked you to raise your hands and down, up and down, up and down, I kind of broke down the barrier, the icebreaker that was there between us. I don't know you and you don't know me, I mean the guest I'm referring to. There was some kind of a rapport break, right? So all these are very well planned, intentional things that I did, which might look very natural, very uneventful, but they are well planned and done intentionally. And take less than 5 to 10% of the entire speech time. In fact, some people, what they do is they write the speech first and then they write the beginning of the speech. Can you believe that? They don't even go in a chronological order. They write a speech and then for this body of speech, what can be the most catchy beginning? They go backwards and they write the beginning of the speech in the end. Can you believe that? So the beginning of the speech is that important. Let's check out some of the opening techniques. State the importance of your topic. Tell your listeners why the topic is important to them. Just like I said, they need to know what is in it for me. So what's important? Here's an example. Smoking kills. More Americans die each year than were killed in the battle during World War II and Vietnam together. Right? Or do you know that giving up non-vegetarian food will contribute more to a greener environment than not driving a car? Coming back to Sunil's speech, did you know that? Isn't that startling? So you suddenly get the audience attention. What? Just by changing my diet, I can prevent global warming? Why don't I do that? Why don't we all do that and maybe create a better world for our children and grandchildren, right? So it catches your attention. So make a startling statement, something that will catch your attention. Arouse suspense or curiosity. Ha 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 ha! It's been a while since I came to Earth. Let me see how many people will get caught in my noose. Do you know who I am?
Yamraj.
Yamraj. Right? So that caught your attention. And there's one more here. Does it ring a bell?
Mohammed Katani.
This was the beginning of the World Champion speech, Toastmaster International 2015. He started off by lighting, or almost appearing to light a cigarette. And everybody's like, what is he doing? And I was told by a competitor who actually went there, Mr. Toastmaster Ajay Chittaranjan, that they were the first 4 or 5 were like so normal and expected, and here comes a champion, and suddenly he's pulling out a cigarette and lighting. Everybody was like, wow. They were like, woken up, right? He made an impact. And that was the world championship winning speech. And all because he started off well. A job well begun is half done. So the judges are like already, okay. See, that's how you start. Arrow suspense or curiosity. Tell a story or an anecdote. One of the contests that I took part in, I started off like this. I was a 12-year-old boy and I was in my farm. There was no park anywhere else. There was only that farmhouse about 1 kilometer away from my house that had park. And me being an ambitious guy, I thought, I will not stay at home and sleep, I'll go. But then it was thundering, it was lightning, I was surrounded by farm equipment. And metal, as you know, attracts lightning. I was there, all alone, a 12-year-old boy. So that got the audience attention, right? You start off with a story, and usually the story, the more personal it is, the more the impact. Make it, I could have also narrated this, saying someone else did this and then, but it's you. If your story has credibility, so make it personal and tell the story. It's one of the other ways of techniques of starting a story. Do you know how to save a stab victim? Does that catch your attention? In case you're following world news, that will catch your attention because we have seen that's going on in a big way in Israel right now. Palestinians have been ordered to go stab all the Israeli citizens. And it's a big news, and somehow the world media is not paying attention. But then, if you are aware of what's going on there, that will immediately caught your attention. How do I save a stab victim? Our first instinct is to pull out the knife, right? And that's the first thing that you should not do. If there is a stab victim with a knife stuck to him, you should not do it because that could actually kill him. What would kill a stab victim is not the stabbing, but the pulling out of the knife, because that will immediately reduce the pressure of the blood flow and then he's gone. So something like that which will catch people's attention. Remember, you have just 4-5 seconds to catch their attention. So ask a rhetorical question. Begin with a quotation. This is one of the standard ways of me doing it. What's your favorite quotation?
If you can read it, you can assume.
Who said that? Probably Abdul Kalam. The moment you think of dream, you think of Abdul Kalam. Whether he's actually said that or not, that's a different story. So if you can dream it, you can achieve it. Say it, and say it with conviction, say it with passion. And that will kind of give an authority. It gives an authority. For example, when I said Abdul Kalam said that, whether you know who I am or not, whether you know how good a public speaker I am or not, whether you are interested in what I'm going to talk about or not, but we all know Abdul Kalam is an authority. And we better listen to him because we have something to gain from him. So a quotation can immediately give some kind of authority and a credibility to your speech. It amuses the audience. If I can dream it, I can do it. Okay. Who cannot dream, right? We can all dream. That means we can all do something. Dramatize a speech point. Some people have asked me, is it good to be, will it not be too dramatic if I kind of act, for example, Wakab, that's how Prashant introduced Tuni. He's from theatre and he's known to be a dramatic speaker. But what I've heard is the non-Toastmasters actually find Toastmasters very dramatic. Can you imagine? They feel, why is this guy going all around and shouting up and down? Because we have been told that is body language, that is voice modulation, and that's how a good speaker speaks. Because usually how you speak, you stand behind a lectern and you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Thank you for your time, and then you stop. So people who are used to that, when they listen to all this voice modulation, waving your arms and up and down and stories and smiling and laughter, they think it's dramatic. But for us, it's natural. So what I'm trying to say is, what is a dramatic speech and what is not is a very relative thing. So feel free, be yourself. If Tony is from theatre and he feels comfortable doing that, fine. If Sharda is from a more formal background and she feels my content is more important than his delivery, so be it, because that's her comfort level. Okay? So dramatize the speech point or the opening and reference the occasion. I was thinking what is the best example I can give, and this is what I got as the best example for this. Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny. And now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge, not wholly or in full measure, but very substantially, at the stroke of midnight hour. Who said this? Pandit Nehru at 1947, August 15th, right? So it allows the speaker to recognize an unusual or important, very important event and establish a common interest because the whole country was awake at 12 in the midnight on August 15th. So that's one way of starting about. I mean, we are still talking about that speech. Can you imagine what a great opening that was, right? That was what, 65 years ago? Independence? Something like that. Humor, audience participation, a demonstration, a reference to a historical event. I've found this audience participation as a very common opening method in the Western speakers. For example, in Ovations Mysore, when I've gone, Craig Valentine, the World Championship speaker, he was giving an education session. And I used to feel, I mean, I was pretty new to Toastmasters at that time, and he was all over the place. He was like walking here, walking there, touching people's bag, patting them, and then it was not even a speech. It was more like a performance, right? So that's his style of speaking, and if you can master that, awesome. Audience participation, because there's no way they can go back and sit back and look at what's happening on Facebook and WhatsApp, because they better be involved because he's going all around, right? So you get the audience involved. Okay, so those are the do's, and let's give some attention to the do nots. Avoid acknowledging the amount of preparation. Thank you for coming here today. I really didn't have much time to prepare. What kind of an opening would that be, right? What happens if you speak like that? You lose credibility, you lose respect. I mean, if you're not prepared, then what are you doing here? That's the question in the audience mind. So don't do that. Avoid being dull and boring. I'm going to talk to you about the Nobel Prize in Physics this year. There was a breakthrough in the neutrino study. I mean, the only thing that will be breaking is audience head, right? So, be alive. Avoid being dull and boring. Avoid delaying mention of the topic. There's one more thing people do. They think by delaying the mention of the topic they're creating suspense. Not really. Tell the audience what you're going to talk about. Tell them and tell them what you told them. Right? They've heard this rule before. So people do not have patience, right? Nowadays we live in a 2 minutes coffee generation. We have heard that. So avoid delaying mention of the topic. Conclusion. So a dynamic beginning is essential for a successful speech, right? So you have 3, 4, 5 seconds to grab the audience attention, and you better make it count. You better make it count. Be alive and grab their attention. Say something extraordinary. Do something unexpected, and wake them up from the slumber and make an impact. Because in that 4 or 5 seconds, if you grab their attention, the rest of the speech, even if it's mediocre, you still got it, because a job well begun is half done. Back to you.